You're listening to Your Daily Dungeon, a Dungeons & Dragons podcast by Your Daily Nerd.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Your Daily Dungeon, presenting Curse of Strahd. So, where we last left off our adventurers, I believe you've been spit out by Death House, and you've been looking back at the destruction as people kind of clamber by you in the streets sparingly, looking at the house crumbling down as if it was just an everyday piece of business for them. They pay no mind to you, other than kind of strange glances. A woman who's selling pies kind of like picks up her cart when she sees that and starts to move away quickly from you guys. After gathering your things and kind of, reconciling the events that have happened, you agree that it's best to take Watt to the local coroner or the local priest, and Norik has decided that he's going to go and take care of that. And he said, meet him whenever you're available to at the church itself. And he kind of wanders off and starts asking people about the location of the church, and some people point him off in a direction. You see that a lot of people kind of shy away from him in fear of his visuals, not expecting to see a hobgoblin.
To be fair, most people don't like hobgoblins.
Yeah, I was about to say, to be fair, he's pretty ugly.
Yeah, they're fucking dumb.
Look who's talking.
Hey,
Wow.
watch it.
Rude.
So you guys are kind of gathering up your belongings and kind of looking at the house, finally free of its torture. And where would you like to go?
What? Okay. I turn to the party. I'm like, so what now?
I'd sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, that's the best question I've heard all day. Because
I think that's exactly what I said as soon as we got out of the house.
All right, what now?
So what now?
Well, what now?
What would Ira do?
Probably drink some tea.
WID.
So we could
maybe go to a tavern and find out where this what's his face is.
I guess we should probably go have a drink in honor of Watt's memory.
I mean, that's not what I was saying, but I mean, we could definitely do that.
You want to go looking for Coilin and Didovit?
Yes, that's what I want to look for.
Probably a better idea.
We can ask around at the tavern.
Yep.
Yeah.
Try to find a tavern. Try to find a tavern to see if we can get some answers as to where they might be, and get a drink while we're at it.
Get some juicy tea.
Some gin and juice.
DJ, I've been meaning to talk to you about this drinking problem.
DJ doesn't have a problem drinking. He does it just fine.
My only problem is I don't have a freaking drink in my hand.
Hey. So you guys notice as you're standing there, kind of getting your bearings and trying to decide which way in town you want to go, further into the bowels of it, or maybe kind of skirting the edge. You notice that the fog, for the first time in a while, has fully cleared off, and you can see in the valley that there's a large, almost lance-like piercing in the sky, and you see that the castle itself looms over the entire village, as if it's constantly eyeing you. You feel the presence of Strahd looking upon you.
I feel the presence of Strahd looking upon me.
That's it's kind of menacing.
Yep, nope, DJ's still wears character.
Fact.
So, Ian, I go up to a few townspeople and I ask them where the tavern is.
So the first person you approach is a Barovian woman of middle age, probably in her 30s or 40s or so. You approach her and she's wearing like just some commoner's clothing with like a veil wrapped around the top of her head. As you approach, you see that the veil is bloodstained on the bottom of it, and she carries a swaddled baby in her hand, and a young boy clings to her hip. As you approach, she kind of like huddles the boy behind her and looks at you with surprise, and she says, "Can I help you, sir?"
Oh, I was merely asking if I just could get some directions. Me and my compatriots over here are looking for a tavern, an inn in this town.
She looks over and she sees Amnon.
I'm
her
gonna
eyes grow
quickly
wide.
put my hood over my head. I was just about to say that before you said that.
But she spotted you.
I quickly put my hood over my head.
She spots Amnon. Her eyes grow wide with astonishment and fear, and she says, "You walk with the devil himself."
Oh, no. Please. He's less of a devil, more of a nuisance. Don't mind him.
Hey, I heard that.
They just come like that sometimes.
Hey. I may have horns, but I've got feelings too.
Does Zarb not care about Amnon's feelings?
But Ian, I want to roll a persuasion to try to.
Please go ahead, roll.
Would
you roll? No, I did not.
Um,
An 11.
Oh no, I rolled a 3.
Oh.
Oh no.
She kind of like, you see her kind of like take a step back from you, and kind of like she looks a bit feared, and she looks down and says, "Arlie, run!" And she like shoves the baby at you, and she says, "Please, just take him. Don't hurt me."
I hold my hands up. I'm like, I honestly do not want your child.
She says, "No, sir. The devil Strahd himself demands our children. No, please don't take another. Just."
Calm down. It's okay. Is it a girl or a boy?
The baby, it's swaddled. I guess from what you can
swaddled.
tell, it looks maybe like a boy.
She's okay. Is she like holding it out to me?
Yes.
I just kind of like put my hands up. I'm just please keep your child. I am no fan of Strahd. I do not work for him. I don't know the guy personally.
Well, I don't like him either.
You see the young boy run up to a house, and he flings the door open and goes to run inside. And you see the woman turn around, and she goes, "Oh no!" He turns around and starts running after him, and you see a couple of what looks to be like rodents kind of like flit out of the room as she goes running up to the step. You hear the sounds of the boy scream and the sounds of moaning and groaning as the door slams shut behind him. And she kind of like runs and like slams into the door as you hear the sounds of the boy screaming and the sounds of what may be like curtains tearing.
That's not good.
Okay.
Ian, man, what the fuck?
Amnon, let me put this gently. Make sure those horns are hidden.
Yeah, I got the hood on.
All right.
The
Maybe we
woman
can file them.
starts sobbing.
Okay.
Starts sobbing madly against the door.
She starts sobbing madly against the door.
Yeah.
Should we go help her?
You know,
Are we good people?
I walk away.
Is our party just the cast from Always Sunny?
Oh no.
If Watt would be so disappointed right now.
Yeah, Watt would have gone and went to go get him, like, get that lady before we even had a chance to say anything.
I know. No, but I walk
Rest in
away.
peace.
I walk away. I don't want to get involved in that.
She's just over there sobbing.
Mm-hmm.
Is Is Dijo Danny DeVito? Sorry. We'll keep on going.
Please, that's my dream. I wanted my dream of being Danny.
I'm Dijo Joey.
Offer her an
The trash man.
offer her an egg.
Hey, you want an egg?
All right, rein it in.
Okay. I do go if I do see a town guard anywhere nearby, I do inform the Okay, I don't see any town guards. Never mind.
The village of Barovia.
Okay. I go up to another person in the town.
I make sure my hood is pulled tight over my head.
In fact, I'm like, just stand back, Amnon. Okay, just kind of stand back a little bit.
Man, I can be helpful too.
You approach what looks to be like two men at the street corner at the intersection. One is chopping a block of wood, while the other is basically replenishing the logs to split as the guy cuts them.
Okay, go up. Excuse me, fine gentlemen. Was wondering if you could...
splits one of the logs in half mid-sentence and looks at you and he says, "Go away," and turns back to cutting wood.
Fair enough.
Okay. I turn over to Mel and I'm like, "Hey, I don't think he wants to talk to us. I don't think he wants to give us any directions."
Yeah, no, I got that. I'm gonna find somebody else.
Are you still here?
All right, come on, Mel. Let's go.
Okay.
Dijo takes lead on this next one. He starts to go looking for people.
So you come to the intersection. You see the left in the direction that you came in, traveling to the east. Directly in front of you is the south of the intersection, traveling down. And then to your right, you see a long pathway that cuts down the center of the town. You're heading west.
Oh, you know what? I can't play it off that DJ is my child because he's got a fully grown beard. Crap.
I could use one of my daggers to try to shave him.
Dijo would never allow that.
What if I said that Dijo didn't have a choice in the matter?
No, we won't
Okay,
shave
okay.
DJ's beard. At least not yet. At least not yet.
Dijo has the second nicest beard that he knows of.
Okay, Ian, I go find, third time's a charm. I go find another person in the town.
You see what looks to be like a young boy who's kind of eating a pie very quietly on a stoop as you're walking past him. You see that he's kind of eating the pie very wistfully, and he kind of like looks up at you with like a daydream like glance, and you see him kind of like gently grin as his eyes kind of like look as if he washed over with pure enjoyment.
Mel, ask him where he got the pie.
Shut up.
It might lead us to a tavern.
Shut up. I lean down.
The boy takes a bite.
I kneel down to the boy and I'm like, "Oh, hello, little guy. Enjoying your pie there?"
He takes a bite and keeps munching on it. You see a little bit of meat kind of is built up on the bottom of his chin from eating it sloppily. You see that the pie looks to be like a raspberry tart sort of thing. So it's kind of like a no, I'm sorry, it's not meat on his chin. It's like raspberry.
It's like
some sort.
Kind of like jam almost, yeah.
It's like a jam-like substance. It's like blood red in color.
All right.
Blood.
Could you help me out with something? I'm looking for a tavern or an inn, somewhere where I could, stay the night.
He blinks at you and he speaks in Barovian to you.
Oh.
Can we tell that he like understands what Mel's saying, or like?
It looks like the boy has made a remark to you in a language you don't understand, but it looks like he's paying attention to you, trying to figure out what you want.
Hey, Dijo goes up and he points to the pie and he's like trying to like communicate that as like, where'd you get that? Like I want some of that. He's like pointing at it and like rubs his stomach or something and like points around asking like where it is. Or
He kind of looks at you and he says in rough common, and says, "Lady, cart."
The lady who was selling the pies whenever we first got out of the house. Dijo, okay?
Okay.
We're looking for an inn.
I don't. Thank you. And I walk off.
He looks at you and he says, "You want room?" In rough common.
Room? To sleep?
He kind of like cocks an eyebrow, and he very roughly says, "Sleep?" Questioningly.
Say that again, Ian?
He looks at you and cocks an eyebrow, and attempts to repeat the word sleep. He goes, "Eep?"
And like DJ like puts his hands together and like lays his head on his face and closes his eyes.
Lays his head on
Sleep.
his face.
Oh wait, hands. Lays his head on his hands. Yeah.
The boy goes like, "Ah." You'll hear him say in Barovian a mixture of words that sound guttural, and he points down to your right, and he holds up 2 fingers, and he kind of like blows at the top of them, going, and then he like kind of like makes billowing looks with his fingers, trying to indicate that smoke is coming at the top.
I tell the boy thank you, and I pull out a gold piece, and I give it to him.
Here's something for your troubles, kid.
He kind of like looks at the gold piece, and you see him kind of like dig into his pocket, and he pulls out what looks to be like another gold piece. And this gold piece is like a darker, more heavily refined looking one. He kind of like compares the two, and he hands back the one that he pulled out. He hands it to you.
I examine it.
It looks to be like a standard gold coin, only this one looks to be minted in Barovia and has Strahd's face cameoed onto the side.
It's a gold coin, but spookier.
I hand it back to the boy.
He kind of like waves his hand and looks at your coin with interest, stands up and walks into the stoop. Just walks into the house behind him.
Okay.
Oh, let's go.
Guys, I don't think we have any money here.
Yeah.
Well, now we do.
No,
Yeah, we
no,
have
he just
one.
I thought you gave it back.
No, he gave me a Barovian coin.
Well, hey, let's
And I
see what
just
that can get us.
I just gave him a gold coin from our world.
Hey, Ian.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to attempt to use my disguise kit to make myself, with my hood on, look a little bit more human.
Is your skin purple?
Yeah.
Let's wait till we get into the tavern.
Well, if I do it before then, maybe people will be a little bit nicer to me. I'm keeping my hood up. I'm trying to make my skin look, a little less devilish.
You gonna try to make yourself look black, maybe?
I don't know.
It's a lot easier to go darker than it is to go lighter.
Yeah, probably.
I guess go ahead and give me a
It's like roll plus dexterity plus proficiency, right?
if you're proficient with the disguise kit, yeah.
I am indeed.
Dexterity?
Yeah, because he's applying something, unless you can think of a better way to apply it.
I mean, the only other way that I would think it would be intelligence.
Yeah. That's what but either way, you're the DM. You tell us.
That is a big fat 14.
You're not unsuccessful.
Okay. Probably a little less
It's
tiefling-esque.
Okay. Ian, I head over to I find a chimney that has some smoke billowing out of it.
mm-hmm.
And I go over to that building, and does it look like a tavern?
Yes. So you come over and you see a building that has at the very corner with It's basically kind of like parked in the middle of several buildings. Kind of like it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 buildings surrounding it, and its entrance is the only thing that has a pathway up to it. It's basically encircled by buildings with one entrance, and you see that you're in the town square as well. When you enter into the town square, mind you, you see that there is what looks to be like a small headsman's stand up there. You see 2 people hanging, and you see that there is a body kind of like slumped up on top of this headsman's board, and a basket with what looks to be like a head inside of it.
Ooh.
Wow.
Okay.
You see the executioner is up there with his headsman's axe, kind of eyeballing you guys as he kind of leans up against the board. He doesn't have a mask on. You just see a male in his maybe late 30s or so, with brown hair and a mustache that kind of hooks down to the bottom of his chin. He kind of cocks an eyebrow at you guys as you are walking in, and he kind of trades the headsman's axe from one hand to the other and leans forward to examine you.
I do whatever I can to not make eye contact.
Is he like standing in front of the door?
No, he's up. He's in the town square in the center, and the building you're trying to go into is off to the northern corner of the square.
So we have to walk past him.
If you're coming from the east, you don't necessarily have to walk past him. He's in the center of the square, and you're just kind of like skirting the edge of it. You'd avoid walking directly next to him.
Yeah, I try to avoid walking next to him. I don't.
It's roughly a 40-foot square, and he's like smack dab in the middle of this 40-foot square. So at the farthest range, you're about 40 feet from him.
All right.
Or 20 feet rather.
If he's eyeing us, I just do that like courteous smile wave thing.
Mhm.
Just like hi.
Dijo doesn't. Dijo just avoids eye contact completely.
You see the guy
Amnon pulls
reaching
his
his-
hood over tighter.
Yeah, you see this guy looking at you, Eric. He reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a stick of jerky, and he tears off a front end of it and keeps chewing and sticks the jerky back into his pocket.
Is,
You should ask him for some Mel.
is
Since
that
you like him
supposed to
so
be like
much.
a? Is that supposed to be like a power play or something? God,
No,
I
he's
don't get
hungry.
it. Oh, he's hungry. Okay.
It's his afternoon snack.
I just walk into the tavern.
Give me a snack roll.
Roll to snap into a Slim Jim.
If you roll a 1, you end up like missing your mouth.
If you roll a
And
1,
dropping
the
it.
Slim Jim snaps you.
It's one of those Slim Jim packets that you actually can't tear open, and you wind up tearing the side of it instead of like the actual centerpiece that's holding the Slim Jim.
Yeah, and then your Slim Jim just falls and up. That ever happened to you
So-
guys? Hashtag relatable.
So, you guys are approaching the front of the tavern. You see a single shaft of light thrust illumination into the main square. Its brightness looking like a solid pillar in heavy fog. I guess it's not actually as foggy as it once was, so you can ignore that part of the description. Above the gaping doorway to this tavern, you see a sign hanging precariously askew, as if it could fall at any moment and club somebody in the head. It proclaims this inn to be the Blood on the Vine Tavern.
I hope it doesn't fall on me. It doesn't fall on
I hope it falls on him. I hope it falls on him.
me.
So the tavern is about 60 feet square or so. And as you guys enter in, you see that if you look at the Blood of the Vine Tavern, you see that an N has been scratched over with F.
Finn.
So it's. Wait.
Blood of the
If we-
Vife.
Okay. Blood of the life.
An N has been scratched over with the F that once finally appointed. So basically, it says the Blood of the Vife.
Vife.
Yeah.
The Vife. Okay.
Well. Okay then.
Can I roll an intelligence check to see if I would know if there was
What
any
that
sort of
means?
significance to this? Yeah. Sure.
Sure.
I guess would that be like an investigation? Yeah.
It's just an
Or-
intelligence check. You're trying to understand what this is a reference to.
Okay. 20 total.
20 total. So you're looking at it, and you kind of see that maybe it has something to do with the thick accent that these people have when they speak. It reads "blood of the Vife," meaning blood of the wife.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
And sure, I relay this to the party.
Mm-hmm. So you enter in, and you see a blazing fire, and the hearth gives scant warmth to the few huddled souls within. This once finely appointed tavern has grown shoddy over the years. Inside, it includes the barkeep, 3 men sitting together, and another man sitting alone in a corner booth. This man has long, blonde, flowing hair. He's clean-shaven and a strong jaw with a broad nose that sits a little farther off his face than you would first expect. You see as you guys enter in, he's eyeballing you toughly as he takes a sip of wine.
I mean, I just walk in. I just continue. I really don't pay much attention to him.
I go up to the bartender.
Okay.
Yeah.
You see him cleaning mugs as bartenders in fantasy games do.
See, it hasn't changed.
He turns and looks at you. He's stereotypically bald across the top of his head, but he does have that little ring around the back of his head of hair, and he's got basically a mustache that folds down into mutton chops.
Nice.
Ah, a familiar face.
He's a pudgy little man, and he kind of eyeballs you as you enter in. He's mindlessly cleaning one mug after another, despite you can tell that they're all clean.
Okay.
Hey, how are you?
He looks at you and he says, "Could be better. Could be dead." Keeps cleaning.
Couldn't we all?
Yeah. So, how's the room situation here? We got any open rooms?
He looks at you and he says, "Which room you want to die in? There's the top left one. There's the middle one. That one's got a hole from the last werewolf attack."
I'm sorry. But let's back up a little bit. Did you just? Which room are you gonna die in?
He blinks at you and he's like, "I did stutter, son."
I'm sorry. I'm a traveler. I'm not really from around this area.
He says, "I can tell you seem to be a little bit more alive than the rest of us."
Yeah, I could tell that too.
You see him kind of shift his mustache thoughtfully as he looks at you, and he says, "Yes, I've got rooms available."
Oh, okay. How much?
He leans back and kind of pushes his back up against one of the kegs, and pours a glass, and he kind of sets it on the table for you, and he says, "1 copper piece for the mug and the room. Too poor to really care."
1 copper piece.
Okay, so you're giving us rooms for free here?
And he says, "The room with the drink is free. It's up to you which."
Sure. I take out the Barovian coin piece
Mm-hmm.
and I slide that on the table.
He kind of looks down at it, and you see his eyes kind of glow with excitement, and he slides it up and he looks at it and he goes like, "Where did you get a gold coin?"
You know,
He kind of holds the coin and says, "Drinks on this man!" And he kind of pockets the coin, and everyone in the tavern's like, "Eh!"
What the fuck, Mel?
I think we found out that Mel speaks Barovian.
I did not want this. I regret everything.
Look, at least we got a room. Everyone's
Just
drinking and happy.
You see one of the three individuals stand up, and one walks right over to you, Mel. And you see it's actually a woman. She's a little bulkier, a little thicker, and could have easily been mistaken for a man at first. She kind of walks over and like wraps her arm around your shoulder and kind of like punches you in the rib a couple times gently. And she's like, "I like you. You are a very good man. What is your name?"
Name's Mel.
Just first name.
Unfortunately.
She says, "Ah, so you are single then?"
Yes, he is.
I like the idea of Dijo being Mel's wingman.
She looks down and says, "Perhaps I could put the ring on finger. Then we have good evening."
Mel's been looking for someone for a long time, from what he's been telling me.
Nope. I'm sorry. I'm married.
To who? I didn't know about this.
I want to do an insight check.
Do you really want to roll an insight check?
I mean, I will.
Yeah, go ahead and roll.
Yeah, go ahead and roll it.
It's a 16.
Yeah, you know he's not lying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just
shit.
I'm sorry. I'm married.
Married to the game.
But
She looks down at your finger. Do you actually have a band on your finger?
Yes. I would definitely have a band on my finger.
She looks down. She looks down and she kind of scowls and says,
Oh wait, no.
Unfortunate.
I don't have a ring on my finger, but I have it. Let's say I have it. It's like
On your person.
it's a necklace.
Okay.
It's like on a necklace.
She looks down on your hand and says, "What kind of man walk around with no ring but married? Are you a cheater? Never mind. You keep your drink. I go sit down." She walks away from you.
Okay, goodbye. Thanks for the offer.
You see, the guy that was sitting in the corner looking at you sternly kind of walk over, and he kind of claps you on the shoulder, Mel, and he says, "Would you guys like to join me for a drink on me?" He kind of like digs into his pocket and he sets down 5 silver coins that have Strahd's face on them.
Sure. Why not?
I'm always down for a drink, my dude.
He squints and says, "My dude."
Don't mind him at all, please.
See,
says
no
odd
problem
things.
drinking at all.
We think that he got dropped as a child. He says
On
odd
more than
things
one
all the
occasion.
time.
So you guys join him, and the innkeep comes over and he sets down a couple like large plates of food in front of you. You see pancakes on one, and what looks to be like kind of like a strange blue syrup. In addition to that, he sets down what looks to be like a mixture of I guess the best you can tell is some kind of baconed meat. It's not necessarily bacon, not from a pig. And you also see linked sausage of a strange color as well. And then finally on the last plate, you see bread, just a couple loaves of bread.
I eat the shit out of some bread.
It's like Outback bread, man.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's
That's like that. Their bread is really good, actually.
Yeah. Anybody else eat anything off these plates?
Yeah. Yeah.
I maybe
think
try some of the. I maybe try some of the meat to see to see if it's like edible.
It's actually pretty good. It's seasoned and has a little bit too much salt on it, but otherwise tastes pretty good. It's not the worst sausage you've ever had, and the bacon is well cooked and has like bubbling grease on it that's still hot.
Davros is very much so more interested in the bread.
Yeah, I would imagine. Davros, give me a nature check on the meat.
A nature check? Okay.
And nature.
Is everyone helping themselves to the food, basically?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I eat a little bit. Is this guy like wanting to talk to us, or is he?
21.
Oh wow.
Yes, he's gonna speak to you, but we're doing this meat thing first. Davros, you're looking at the meat, and you immediately recognize like wolf bacon and wolf sausage.
Oh,
seen it.
yeah, I'm totally more interested in the bread now.
Do you mention this to anybody? You just kind of sit there watching them eat wolf.
You know, this tastes kind of like chicken.
I'm too horrified to say anything.
Yeah, Dejo's not even thinking about what it is. He just kind of eats it. What is Davros's face while Dejo's eating this food?
As blank as I can possibly make it. Like, not paying attention blank, just kind of a trying not to care into the void stare.
It's that emoji of like the straight line mouth. Just the all right.
Dejo.
Think of any
Sorry.
Pokemon, but as Ditto.
Dejo looks at Davros and he's like, kind of like, "Hey man, you want some?" And like, kind of like shoves some in his face.
Hey, what would I have
You
to
want-
roll to see if
you
I
want
throw
some?
it in?
If you throw up a Constitution save at disadvantage,
Oh no. Whatever, that's fine. My Constitution's decent. Give me an 8.
you have a gag reflex, but you don't throw up.
As kind of
All of you see Davros go.
as like
He's
put my
like-
hand over my mouth. Nope, I'm good.
Oh god,
You
I
just-
hate that. That sound makes it sound like I'm gonna make myself throw up.
I just turned to the guy next to me. I'm just like, he's a vegan.
He nods his head and goes like, "Yeah, it's not every day you get wolf meat placed in front of you. It's all we really have to eat here." He kind of reaches forward and casually takes a bite off of one of the
Wait.
sausages.
What, you said wolf meat?
Wolf meat.
Through chewing, he goes like, "Yeah. What do you think? We got cattle around here? They eat the cattle." He keeps chewing the wolf meat.
If anyone's looking at Davros, he's covering his ears.
La 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 la.
Okay.
Dejo,
Not bad.
I thought this tasted
I
like
mean-
wolf.
Dejo just kind of eats it more slowly now.
He's disturbed, but he's also hungry. So now he looks at you and he says, "Excuse me, I've been rude." He swallows and he kind of sticks his hands out to shake each one of your hands individually. And he says, "My name is Ismark. Ismark Koilan."
He's Mark Coylan.
He says, Izmig Indirovich, if you would. Koilan is my father's name, but we use that for the purposes, if you understand my drift.
Dejo looks directly at Mel.
Did your family ever try to hire some people for a job?
He looks at you and he says, "My father, Koilan Indirovich, did, yes. I have seen many adventures come and go. Very few return. I have asked them to stop sending people. I sent a messenger out about 2 weeks ago. Asked him to go as far as he can. Ask one of Vistani to take the message for me, as they could leave the mist. But he never returned."
Yes. Okay. I was just wondering because
Sorry, his name is Ismark Kolyanovich. Kolyan meaning like his father's name, Vich meaning son of. So
okay. I'm like, well, I asked because and I pull out the letter. We got this. What was it? About a few days ago.
Yeah, something like that.
a
Yeah.
day ago.
Yeah, like a day. We got this the other day, and I unfold it and I kind of like hand it over to him.
You see him kind of cock an eyebrow and reach forward and tentatively grab it. He reads it, and you hear him say in Barovian, what must be some sort of swear. He's just like, "Skol's beyond. He looks up and says, "Well, that is not good news. That leaves me with little options." He looks up and says, "Perhaps it's not a bad thing. You survived the journey in. Was it as bad as it seems? If my friend has not come back alive, that must mean that they're guarding the roads. But you made it. That means that you are not just your everyday average adventurer. You are something of prodigy, yes?"
You could say that.
Damn it! You beat me to it. I was about to say that.
You mentioned your friend. I don't want to upset you, but I don't think that he made it. In fact, on our way in, I think on the side of the road.
He kind of like looks a little bit pensive and then describes the man that you saw laying dead. Says, "Is that him?"
That sounds like him.
Hmm. You see him kind of like touch his forehead and touch his heart and then make the shape of a sun almost with his hand. And he says, "Morning, Lord, pray for him." "Well then, adventurers, if that is what you'd have me call you, you seem of the ilk anyway." He says, "I have not seen one of your kind in a very long time." He kind of like motions to Dijo. "In fact, last man that I saw of small stature go inside house over on eastern side of town and never return."
Well, I did the same thing except I returned.
He kind of like puts his hand on the table and says, You went into the house?"
I'm giving Dijo the widest-eyed stare.
I mean,
He kind of like slides the plate that was in front of him across, and he says, "You went into the dust house and survived."
I mean, yeah.
He kind of like stands up.
Dijo Ixnay on the Ethdaus, hey.
He like stands up. He stands up from the booth and like claps his hand down on the table. His ringed finger kind of making a loud noise, and everyone kind of like turns and looks and says, "You must come with me to my house. I need your help."
Could you hold on 1 second, real quick?
No. Listen, you answered my father's letter.
Yes. We fully intend to come with you. Just give me.
Dijo starts walking toward the bar.
I stand up and I grab Dijo and I walk towards the bar.
I'm just pulling my hood over more.
I'm just like, we'll be right back. These two will keep you company.
Ismark is excitedly looking at Davros and is like excited looking at Davros and Amnon. And Amnon, you see him kind of like studying you with like a smile on his face, and he goes like, "Oh, you are not human. Very interesting." He says, May I look?" He motions to your horns.
I very, very, like, I'm looking around. I'm going to very subtly try not to make a big deal about it, but kind of like move my hood back, not completely off my head, but just to kind of show him my horns a little bit. Yeah, sure. Just don't make a big deal about it, man.
He looks at me and goes like, "Oh, those are Vistani. They've seen your kind before. They're the only ones that can leave Barovia. They know who you are. You think they don't know who you are? They let you walk into their establishment without any kind of trouble. You think that man behind the bar owns the place? He owns nothing. He owns the spit in his mouth and the clothes on his back."
All right, fine. I'll take my hood off.
He goes like, "Whoa, those are big. Very interesting. Last time I saw one of your kind, his head was on mount. Because, Ramhorn."
Yeah. People don't tend to think well of us.
He says, "No, it's not that. It's more that the last time one of your kind was here, he became at odds with my father, and my father was not a man of patience. Good man. Doesn't like being insulted. I would like to mention my father is dead, and now it is up to me." Ismark the Lesser.
I'm just gonna. I'm not gonna make eye contact with him. I'm just gonna keep drinking my drink. I don't really. I don't know, man.
He turns and looks at you, Davros, and says, "What of you? You are elf, yes?"
Yes.
He kind of like reaches forward and he attempts to touch one of your ears.
I don't move out of his way, but whatever ear he tilts away from his hand.
He still touches it, unless you like intentionally try to keep him from doing so.
I don't like push him away. I just kind of back up a little bit.
Like leaning as far as you can in the seat away from him.
Like if he really wants to touch my ear, he can. I guess. I don't know. He seems interested.
Yeah, he like reaches forward and like, kind of without any sense of like, he has like no sense of personal space about it, and he kind of like takes his index and thumb and kind of like touches the tip of your ear, and he goes like, "Very interesting. I have not seen elf on this side of the country in years. Tell me, what is a dusk elf doing over here? You look a little bit different."
I didn't catch that middle bit. Sorry.
He says, "I have not seen a dusk elf on this side of country in many years. Tell me, what is of your kind doing here?"
I kind of fell in with this lot, and yeah, here we are.
Out of character, you heard him call you a dusk elf, right?
A dusk elf? Oh. No, I did not hear what you said. I was just
Yes,
kinda going with it.
he refers to you as a dusk elf.
So, okay, wait a minute. You called me a what?
You gonna want to cut that out.
Hey guys, wait 1 second. I think Cody's dog needs out. So can I do that? Take care of that real quick.
Yes.
She's kind of doing her thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be back in like.
I mean, we're doing this thing anyway.
Yeah, I'll be back in like 3 to 4 or 5 minutes. So.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna have a serious talk with you when you get back here.
Oh shit. All right. Bye. 1 second.
So, you see, Ismark looks at you and he says, "Well, yes, you are not dusk elf, yeah. You have dark hair and darkish skin."
Okay, out of character, is dusk elf like a slur towards drow, or is he referring to something I am not familiar?
He's referring to something you're not familiar with.
Ah. No, I don't know what a dusk elf is.
He looks at you with a bit of confusion and kind of like scratches his beard for a moment. Well then, it's most interesting. I had not expected this answer. So you are not dusk elf. What elf are you?
An elf of the forest.
You are plank elf? Leaf elf? No, that's stupid. Bush elf. Yes, bush elf.
I think it's tree elf.
Well, if you were to get technical about it, I guess we're called wood elves.
No,
He kind of says, "What kind of name is wood elf?"
You're asking me, man.
Are you made of wood?
I don't think so.
And he kind of cocks an eyebrow and says, "If you are a wood elf, does that make you devil man?"
I don't believe.
He kind of like he was asking Amnon if you're devil man.
Oh,
That-
sorry. I thought that was also towards me.
That kind of
No.
sounds like a superhero name. I don't hate it. I work in the shadow of the night. I am Devilman.
It's somewhere in between Batman and Daredevil.
Yeah.
Like you've got Daredevil's sonar abilities, but none of his fighting prowess, but all of Batman's wealth.
That's not a bad combination. It's not a good
right.
one, but it's not a bad one.
All right, hear me out real quick. If I were to tell you that there were two superheroes and one of them fights with echolocation and the other one fights like an acrobat, and then I were to tell you which one is Daredevil and which one's Batman, you would not believe me.
Good.
One's an adrenaline junkie that uses technology to fucking fight crime. The other one uses sonar and echolocation to do the same thing. Oh, goodness. So, Ismark looks at you and says, very interesting. You are both of different, I guess you could say, belongings. I like that. It is not every day that you see the same faces in Barovia, or different faces, I mean. In fact, you see fewer and fewer of the same faces every day in Barovia. You see him kind of put his thumb to his lip thoughtfully.
Any idea as to why that is?
He kind of spits into a cup and says, Bush moi, Strahd. The Garrod, he hides in his castle, killing all of us like we are pawns, playthings in his little game. Strahd is after my sister, Irina.
That's not good.
He says he would not have her. In fact, she has been bit twice. He has not succumbed to his vampirism. She is special. He kisses his fingers and goes, she is a gift from the Morning Lord himself. She will be the death of Strahd. I know it. I feel it in my bones, or will play a part in it.
Yeah.
All right, so flipping over to... Oh, sorry, you have another thing?
Nothing important.
Okay, so flipping over, you're dragging Dijo by the ear over to the bar, Mel.
I'm sorry, I was cutting in and out. What was that?
You're dragging Dijo by the ear over to the bar. What do you say to him?
I wait till we're out of earshot of anybody,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just like, I just get over to the bar and I just give him a whack upside the head.
I'm like, oh God, what the fuck? I'm sorry.
DJ, look at me. Look.
Like, I'm just like, kind of like looking the other way. Just like, look. I'm just like, look, man. I try to turn back around toward Mel. I'm like, it just slipped out. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. Whenever you think about opening up your big ass mouth, look at me and make sure it's okay first. Okay?
Look,
I don't know who.
Okay,
I don't. We don't know who's trying to kill us and who's going to be our allies here. So,
Hey, Ian.
Yes.
Look,
Can I roll a perception to see if I hear that?
What's your You go ahead and roll. Your passive's pretty high, isn't it?
Huh?
Your passive's pretty high, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I'm
I rolled a natural one.
So you would just take your passive.
Yep, passive 17.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
We're in a corner. We're in the like.
It's a heated.
Yeah, I know I know it would be a high one to pass. I was just curious if I could.
So it's a heated whisper, and with a 17, you can catch the drift of the conversation. You can tell that Mel is scolding Dijo about speaking. You're not sure exactly what he's saying, but you can tell that Dijo is apologetic.
Okay, I was just wondering if I could like verbatim hear what he was saying because I was gonna take some action if I heard him saying "make sure it's okay," because that just sounds aggressive.
It's mainly towards Dijo. Because Dijo has no filter.
they just like, I know I'm a fucking dumbass. All right, just
Dumbass about what? The barkeep kind of is like leaned over the other side of the bar looking at you.
just in general, okay. He turns back to Mel.
He
That's
looks at
spot
you.
on.
And you kind of feel like something poke you on the shoulder.
I feel something poke me on the shoulder.
No, Dijo.
Dijo turns around.
You see the barkeep has a shish kebab.
Dijo takes it.
The man grins and says, "Sometimes fuck ups are good people. Still, you deserve to be dead because you fuck up and you get your friends killed, but you are not a bad person. Just because you are a bad guy does not make you bad guy."
Oh my gosh.
You know what?
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you. I take the shish kebab.
This has been the most bullshit D&D session, I swear to God.
Anyway, Dijo turns back to Mel and he's like, what if we lie to him? What if we say that we actually didn't go in and that I just lied to him?
You see Ismark lean out the booth after he's finished talking to you two, and he's like, "Hey, I'll pay you if you help me."
Dijo, cat's out of the bag. Just don't
Cat
just
where?
go telling people everything. We don't know
Where?
what the hell we are, okay?
Okay. All right. I got it, Mel.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Give me a hug.
I forget. I give him a half hug.
Oh.
No, Dijo makes it a full hug.
A full hug for a 3-foot tall person is like still Mel's thigh. So
Yeah.
I just kind of pat him on the
Good
head.
old dick.
Dijo,
I nudged Davros and I pointed out and I'm like, see that? That's the friend zone right there.
Oh man, look, Dijo's going straight for it too.
He told
You
me,
see-
he heard that he's married, right?
Ismark leans up and goes like, "Oh, neat. My sister is also gay."
fuck. Dijo doesn't hear this stuff.
He turns back
And I
he
walk
turns
back
and
over
he
to
looks
the
at-
table.
He turns back and he looks at Davros and he says, "In fact, though many people are murderers and judgmental and dangerous, we are not homophobic here."
You know what? That's good to hear. I'm proud of you guys.
We are
Amnon, is
progressive
there
yet
something you want to tell
ancient.
us?
No. What do you mean?
And this is when we found out that Amnon had the big gay.
So the man kind of like claps his hand and says like, "So you take a job and I pay you?"
Yes.
After a good start, I see.
I just, kind of rubbing my face in frustration at DJ right now. Like, yes, we'll take the job.
I lean over to Mel and I say, "See, I can read your mind."
We may have to go pick up. We have one more member of our party, though. He's actually taking care of something right now.
He says, "It'll be quick. We are just going to get my sister, and then we can go get wherever he is. Okay, us? Okay, we go. Go. Okay, let's go. We leave."
Hey,
Thank
is your
you, Eric.
sister married?
He looks
heard
back
him-
and he says, "You don't know I am hiding, are you?"
What?
Let someone intelligent tell you while I walk away from you.
I wink at Mel about the sister-in-law.
I turn to him. I raise my finger and I go, and I just keep on walking, following him.
So he exits the tavern, and you guys see that the headsman is not there anymore when you leave. When you exit out as well.
He was a ghost.
Maybe. He walks you across the town square directly diagonally from where you were to a street that heads south to the village. You pass by a large building that has sparse light coming from it, and it's spilling at the front end of it, and behind drawn heavy curtains. It kind of makes up the front door. There's no actual door. You see a
Hey.
sign over that, and it's creaking on its hinges, and it reads "Build Drafts Mercantile." So it's kind of like a general store. Yes, what's up?
Dijo's slightly suspicious because Mel's scolding kind of works. So Dijo wants to see if there's anyone following them.
Well, a perception check.
Oh shit! I roll an investigation check.
No.
Damn. Oh, I tried. I gotta try these things, you know.
Mhm.
10.
It looks like every day to you. Just
All right,
walk
fair enough.
across town.
All right. Okay.
So, let's see here. As you guys are walking down the streets, you hear the sounds of wailing and sobbing coming from a house directly beside that mercantile. The moaning sob floats through the still gray streets and coloring your thoughts with sadness. The voice wails and screams in agony and sadness. The sound flows from a dark two-story townhouse directly to your left as you're walking down the street. Ismark kind of like just hurriedly walks past it.
Yep.
Okay.
So do I. I
Wait.
follow Ismark.
I have my hood up again, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So, you guys are walking, and you come to what looks to be like a large mansion, probably one of the bigger buildings here, just only slightly smaller than the tavern, perhaps. It's a weird-looking mansion, squats behind a rusting iron fence. The iron gates are twisted and torn. You see that the right gate lies cast aside, while the left swings lazily in the wind. You hear it kind of moan and screech as the wind drags with the remains of it through the dirt around it. The stuttering, squealing clang of the gates repeats with a mindless precision. Just screech, screech, screech. You see weeds choke the grounds and press with a menace on the house itself. Yet, against the walls, the growth has been tramped down to create a path all about the domain. You see heavy claw markings have stripped the once beautiful finish of the outside walls. Great black marks tell of the fires that have assailed the mansion. Not a pane nor a shard of glass stands in any window, and all the windows are barred with planks, each one marked with stains of an evil omen. Those of you with a passive perception of 11 notice discerned trampled weeds all around the mansion, as well as scores of wolf paw prints and human footprints. One occasionally steps while another drags, and you can see the foul remains, Davros, specifically you, of zombies that have long been since destroyed and kind of decaying in the yard.
Oh, sorry.
So, as you guys are approaching the front door, you see Ismark kind of like mumbles something under his breath along the lines of, "Okay, here we go." He walks up to the door and kind of like puffs his chest out, and he raps on the door and says, "Irina! Irina, it's me. Open the door." You hear the sounds of padded footsteps coming along, and you hear the sounds of a voice from the other side. "Irina, open the door. It is me, your brother."
I wink at Mel.
So Irina opens the door.
Ismark quickly like steps forward and embraces her, and he says, "Irina, it is so good to see you. I have brought help."
Really? So I eye down these group of adventurers that stand behind him.
Irina is a tall, standing at 5'8", with kind of like olive toned skin and auburn hair and brown eyes. You see that she's wearing what did we say, breastplate? So she's got a breastplate on and like normal clothing on underneath it, and a collar that kind of like hangs, not hangs, but kind of like juts up around her chin. She's got a noble and beautiful countenance about her, and hair that kind of hangs down to the side of her waist. And you see she's got a rapier upon one hip. It looks like the rapier is seated upon the right side of her hip, indicating that she's left-handed, so that she can cross draw. She's also got a pair of daggers on each hip, and a short bow is across her backside. You also see a small quiver upon her waist that is tied to it with a red sash. Her van braces are red, and a cloak hangs down her backside. And it's like one of those quarter cloaks. It doesn't go all the way down her back, and it's kind of torn across the left side, making the right side longer than the left. So, anyway, Ismark looks at Irene. They made it through the dust house on the other side of the town. They survived.
All right. So, yeah, she seems impressed by this. By the way, listeners, if you don't know what's going on, I'm going to be playing Irina. So just trying to get into the groove of this. No, she looks very impressed by this, and it's like, you four?
I mean, there were others with us.
I did. I mean, you know, I think I look like a pretty well adventured adventurer.
Seem pretty short to be an adventurer.
Aren't you a little short to be a stormtrooper?
I suppose that remark was at DJ.
Do what, Ian?
I think that short remark was at DJ, wasn't it?
It probably was.
It definitely was.
He just says, well, it's not about the size, it's how you're used. Wait, hold on.
Oh god.
Okay. So, I look to oh gosh, try to remember his name. I got it written down. Hold on. I turn to Ismark and it's like, so you think these four can help us with our father?
He says, never mind our father. You need to leave town right away with these gentlemen. And I don't know if they have lady friends or not, but I'm sure they make good friends with you, Alina. You need to leave and go to Vallaki. Like, immediately. You need to be gone. Father can wait.
No, I will not leave this town.
Hey, have you met my buddy Mel? He's pretty cool.
I just kick DJ. Mel kicks DJ. He's just like, shut the fuck up, DJ. But no, Irina's like, I'm not. I won't leave father. He's not until he's been buried.
He rolls says, we've been over this. It's not safe for you to be out in daylight to visit the funeral. You need to leave. I will handle our father's arrangements. Do not trust me.
No. If these four can help us bury father, then I will leave. Till then, I'm not going anywhere.
You guys hear the sounds of heavy mailed footsteps coming from behind her. You see the ghostly visage. Not ghostly visage. I don't know what the hell I said that at all. Like literally zero reason why I said that. You see the footsteps of basically what looks to be like reptilian-like claws, and you see an almost uncanny likeness to the black dragonborn you saw inside the house.
That would have been only Davros that had saw him, right?
Yes. Well, you would have all seen the corpse inside the house for sure.
Right.
Yeah, I was about to say, y'all all saw him. It was just after I did.
He's got a scarred right eye. He's tall, 6'8" to be exact, wearing full like heavy armor, and he's got a great sword upon his back. He kind of crosses his eyes and grumbles, and he looks at Irina and says, "Irina, you know you're not supposed to be outside."
Does he look like he has any sort of similar to Dragonborn?
I mean, the other Dragonborn was also missing.
You cut out.
Mm-hmm. The other Dragonborn also had a scarred eye. He also had the same scale color and same voice, same height, same armor.
But he doesn't look like he's dead.
No, he looks quite alive. Also, he's a dragonborn, so that's also kind of odd to see in the town.
Yeah. Irina steps back inside. Now, Ian, we were talking earlier that her father's body is in the center of the mansion.
Yes.
Okay. She just kind of like walks away. She's like I'm not leaving. I won't leave. Not until father is buried. End of discussion.
The dragonborn kind of cocks an eyebrow and says, "Ismark, are you sure of this?" And Ismark kind of nods his head silently, and the dragon says, "Well, if you're so sure, follow Irina's request. Let her bury her father. Then she will leave.
I
You will
think we can do
leave.
that.
As soon as he's buried, Irina, you leave with these adventurers. I will stay here and protect the home. With your brother.
You're very kind, Saladin." And I kind of put a hand on his cheek, you know.
He closes his he closes both eyes really, but he closes his eye and kind of like leans into it, and you see him kind of like draw himself back up to his full height. And he puts his hand on your shoulder. His gauntleted hand like absorbs almost your entire right side of your shoulder and arm. And his gentle caress is very stark difference compared to him. He looks at you, Irina, and says, "It will be fine."
I think at this point, Mel would jump into the conversation and be like, "Okay, so let me get this straight. We're gonna go bury a body, and then she's coming with us."
So Ismark looks at you and he says, "I will pay you to protect my sister. Is this not enough?"
Yeah, no, that's plenty. That's
He
good.
says, "Take her to the town of Velaki. She will be safe there. It is on the other side of the town. I have also heard that the city of Krezik is a haven. There is a wonderful abbey there. They say the priest is capable of miracles of saving lives and curing diseases."
Did you say capable of saving lives?
He nods his head and says, "Yes, but a day's journey to him, or 2 days, perhaps by horseback, maybe a week on foot. But if you do this, if it was only a few days, he can bring back even the dead who have been dead for a day or two."
I look at the rest of the party, just kind of like nonchalantly, like, you guys, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Everest is very much so the opposite of nonchalant. He kind of does a double. He kind of does a double take.
Saladin kind of like touches you on the shoulder, Irina, and says, "I'll be in the other room preparing the body for moving." He steps away.
Okay. At this point, Irina just turns back to the adventurers and she's like, "Do this for my father." I don't know why she says that, but she does, and then she just walks away.
Thank you.
So, you see Ismark kind of like sigh and says, "Well, that could have gone worse. Let's go get the body and head to the church."
Okay. I'm just a little puzzled actually, because I'm not entirely sure why burying a dead body is a
Hey,
why
man,
is
gold
that, how's
coin
that,
is a gold coin.
yeah, but how's that dangerous? I mean, it's really just digging a hole.
Man, we just escaped a death house.
Do you
And
ask? Do you want to ask Ismark why he thinks it's such a dangerous idea?
Yes.
As Mel. Okay.
Yes, as Mel. That's what I'm playing
Yeah.
Mel.
Yeah.
Mel is curious because he's actually. This is actually a
Confused?
character because I actually don't know why this is.
Yeah.
a dangerous
So
task.
Ismark looks at you and says, "How much do you know about the vampires?"
How much do I know about
Excuse me?
vampires? Yeah,
How
and what
much
kind of
do-
role do?
How much?
What kind of
do
role
we
do I
know?
have to make?
You may all roll an intelligence check, or a nature check,
Oh, yeah.
or a religion check.
Oh yeah, give me that religion.
Well, my nature's the only one of those that isn't.
What about Arcana?
Arcana works too. You'll know probably not as much in depth, but yes.
I got a 15.
11.
11.
I got a 25.
25.
17.
Mel, you know a considerable amount about vampires. Out of character, you're a DM, Eric. So, the information about vampires is basically what you understand and know, including that a bite does not necessarily kill somebody. It is the being bitten and then dying after being bitten is what makes you a vampire.
Okay.
So Ismark asks you, "What do you know about vampires?"
Well, I know that they don't much care for the sun, and usually a wooden stake through the heart, pretty significant way to end them.
They're allergic to garlic, aren't they?
I actually heard the garlic thing's a myth.
No fucking way. I don't believe it.
Why would they lie about that?
Davros,
Why not?
You would
Why
know
not
about
create
the.
it? Why
Davros,
not
you would
create
know
a
about the
fake
running water.
weakness?
You would know about the running water.
Oh.
They can't cross
Yeah,
running
but why
water.
not create a fake weakness? You know.
I could get behind that.
Holy symbols have no effect on them in that way.
I also know about vampiricism.
Turning. What goes into turning?
Yeah.
In addition to that, you also know that a vampire cannot be killed away from his coffin.
Right. So let me ask you this. Was your father bitten by a vampire?
Mauled to death by werewolves.
Okay.
Close
So
enough,
different.
that's
He
a
kinda-
little bit
He
different.
kind of motions to the interior of the mansion, and it's well furnished. Yet you can tell that there's signs of great wear. Noticeable oddities, like the boarded up windows and the presence of holy symbols in every room, basically. In addition to that, you can tell that the house has been ravaged by damage and things like that.
Okay. So your father was killed by werewolves. Does he have lycanthropy?
He looks at you and says, "You cannot turn if you're dead. It's not the same as vampirism."
Okay. So I'm still not catching the drift here. I don't see how this is dangerous. I mean, it's a dead body.
Do you not know
dig
that
a
vampires
hole,
cannot
bury
enter
it.
into a house? Vampires cannot enter into a house without being invited, unless that is their home. Yes, you understand this?
Okay.
Missed it.
DJ leans
Basically,
over to
think-
Melanie. Oh, sorry. I was gonna.
Think of every single trope that a vampire is, and that's D&D on steroids. Like every single trope except for garlic
And holy symbols, right?
Yeah.
and a holy symbol. Holy symbols are, in the context of paladins and clerics, are functional. The average person, not so much. Not gonna do too much.
Yeah.
It might make him genuinely kind of curious as to what he thinks is going to happen. That's probably about the most. So
It's not like you can just hold up a cross and be like, "Be gone."
I mean, you can. It just might not work.
So he looks at you and says, "If Irina is out in broad daytime or nighttime, whenever the event is going to be, whenever we bury the man, Strahd will come for her. She is safer indoors.
Okay, so once he's buried, she's free to leave.
When she is out of the town, Strahd will not be easily able to track her, not easily be able to scry upon her. Barovia, the village, is not safe. Vallaki is where she will be safe, far from Castle Ravenloft. You have seen the beastly estate that looks over the cliffside?
Yeah. I mean, I glanced.
Strahd always watches. He watches inside homes. He knows he cannot get in, but he has spies all around. The ravens and crows all around. Strahd spies. The Vistani, those immigrant people, spies for Strahd. Some Barovians even. The rats.
I turned to
Wolves.
Dejo. I turned to Dejo as he's saying all this, and I give him a wide stare.
Deidre just looks at Mel, and then looks away, very slowly. With that look of like, except like without sign. You know what I'm saying?
He says, Vistani are not your enemy. Only those that would align themselves with Strahd. They are as a whole a likable people. A great deal different than us Barovians.
Is there any way we could tell the difference between them?
They wear gypsy-like clothing. And they dance all night and they drink with great mirth and happiness. We Barovians have no such happiness. Some of us indeed feel the lack of a soul even.
I'm sorry.
He nods his head and says, come. He steps into a drawing room where Irina and the Dragonborn are like overlooking a body. You see the Dragonborn is blessing it and using a holy symbol and kind of tossing out a decanter of holy water on the body.
Yeah, Irina is just. Oh my gosh, drop my dice. Irina's just like, mourning over the body, I guess.
Mel, roll an Arcana check at advantage.
So that was an 18, and that was a nat 20, so that is 27. Big old 2-7.
Ooh, look at you.
Yeah, I'm smart. I know.
I just sent it to you privately.
Oh. Very interesting.
You see him finishing his prayer, and he kind of stands up, and he grabs the lid of the coffin and gently sets it down. He looked at Irina. How is Irina reacting to seeing her adopted father buried? Or rather, let's see here. I misspoke. That's just her father.
So Irina is standing there, standing over the body. She doesn't like to show too much emotion, but it's one of those things where she's like choking back tears. Just a few tears.
Ismark comes over and kind of like touches the side of her head and gently pushes it into his shoulder, kind of like comfort her.
I let him. But after like a minute, I'm like, all right, get off.
He just kind of watches this happen.
Saladin kind of crouches down and like hefts the entire coffin up after a moment with great ease, and says, "To the church, then."
Let's go, guys.
Yeah, let's go. I guess. Yeah.
So you guys turn and start to exit the like the mansion, and there's kind of like a train in tow. Saladin is at the very back, carrying the body, and Ismark is leading and heading towards the church. The church sits kind of raised up from the rest of the city itself. It's at the top of a hill, and there's a large graveyard behind it, with a fence built around the backside of the graveyard. You guys travel north in the city, back up past that crying woman's house, back to the square, on the opposite side of the basically the headsman's, I guess you could say, stand. And you travel northwest through the town up to the top northwestern corner of it, to that hill. You get to the outside of the church, atop a slight rise against the roots of the pillar stone that supports Castle Ravenloft. So basically, the church is backed up against the big pillar-like cliffside, and it's directly beneath the castle itself. The castle kind of looms over the top of it, several hundred feet above you. It kind of stands a great edifice of stone and wood. This church has obviously weathered the assaults of evil for centuries on end and is worn and weary. You see a bell tower rises toward the back, and flickering light shines through holes in the shingled roof. The rafters strain feebly against their load. As you approach, the heavy wooden doors of the church are covered with claw marks and scarred by fire. You see that one of the doors gently hangs ajar, and you see a green light kind of burst forth from the inside of it, kind of gently glowing green and black.
That.
Would I possibly know what that might be, or like?
Yeah, you can roll an
What I
intelligence check. Mel, you can roll an arcana check.
I can roll an arcana?
Mm-hmm.
19.
It's necromantic energy of some sort.
Hold on.
Okay.
I rolled 18 plus 3. 21.
You can tell a necromantic energy is
Okay.
the place as well.
Yeah, same thing. Okay, cool.
Okay. I go up to the door and I just kind of ease it open slowly.
You poke your head inside, and you see a kind of short, squat man cowering, and you see Nort with his arms crossed, examining the event with a bit of intrigue and kind of curiousness. It's a short hallway, Eric, about only 20 feet or so, up into the actual center chapel area with all the pews, which are kind of like shattered and broken flanks of wood. You see Watt's body kind of like floating in the air. As you see the skin kind of like pale and veins start to kind of have deep black running lines through them, and Watt's eyes open up, and you hear him go, and he turns and goes like, "Oh, hey, Mel." As he
Fuck,
That was
What?
too good of an impression. I'm mad.
And he
Okay.
sinks back down to the floor. Unfortunately, we're out of time.
Oh, man.
What? Ah, nuts.
But looks like Watt's back, baby.
Apparently.
Watt is back. Oh, my
Who?
gosh.
Wait, who?
I'm going to kill
Watt?
him.
Who? What? No? Alright.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. It's been actually a very fun episode, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. This was a lot of fun.
And I really enjoy you guys what's going on in the city, and hopefully you'll find out more of the things that's happening in days to come. Thank you guys so much for listening to Your Daily Dungeon, proudly presented by Your Daily Nerd. Tune in next week for more episodes, and I believe by the time this episode is dropped, we should have already dropped maybe our side adventure, a heist we're doing. Just stay tuned. If it isn't out yet, it'll be coming soon. Thank you guys so much for listening, and keep on rolling.
See ya.